When you access the ePAD, you'll be predominantly accessing it through the student account. When you're with the student will log into their ePAD, and this is the view you will see. In the ePAD homepage, you'll be able to see information on the student themselves, their academic assessor and personal tutor contact details. You'll be able to see the placement they're currently on, and if I was to select this panel, it will take me through to all of the forms and documentation for their current placement. You'll be able to see what's next for this student, what they shouldn't forget, and navigate through the parts of their ePAD. In order to access forms and documentation for the current placement, the student will select the current placement panel. From here, you'll have a full overview of all of the documentation for this current placement, all of the initial documentation, midpoint progress review documentation, final, throughout, and ongoing documentation. Where forms have been completed, they'll be marked as complete, and if a form can be completed more than once, it will have a number next to it to show how many times that form has been completed. In order to navigate to a particular form, either to review a completed form or complete a new form, then we can select the form from here, or we can navigate to the forms using the tabs at the top here. To complete a form then, I could select the actual tab, and I can then select Complete Now. I can then complete this form with the student. Throughout completing this form, of course, I can save progress at any time, and when this form is complete, I can select Finish. This will come up with several options. I can of course save this as draft. If it was completed incorrectly, I can cancel this response. If I need to add further information, I can resume the assessment. And as a practice assessor or practice supervisor, if I'm interrupted during the process of carrying out this assessment or completing this form, I can email it to myself to complete later. In this circumstance, it will ask for my work email address and name, and when I have completed that work email address, I'll receive an email with a link to this form to then complete it in my own time. Of course, ideally, you need to complete this with the student in that moment in time. When I'm happy with this form, I can then select Complete this response. It will then ask for your work email address and full name. It is important that you use your work email address, as this ensures secure sign-off. Once I select Complete this assessment, as a practice assessor or practice supervisor, I will then receive an email to say I've completed this form with this student at this particular time and date, and if I haven't done so, to get in touch with a key contact at the university. If for any reason as a practice assessor you require an ePAD account and would like to review the student's progress at any time, you can complete a practice assessor allocation form. This can be found here. Once you complete a practice assessor allocation form and you complete your work email address and full name within this form, it will trigger an email to be sent to you with a link to your new account. You will use your work email address to sign into your account, and from there you can reset your password and you'll be able to view this student's ePAD at any time. In addition to completing forms within the ePAD, the student can also add timesheet records. In order to do so, they can select the timesheet button in the bottom right-hand side. They will then select the activity type, the date, the duration, the placement and location. They will then ask you to approve this timesheet. Again, you need to put in your full name and work email address to sign this off. Once the timesheet has been signed off, it will update the dial for the number of hours within this particular placement here. And if I was to go back to the home page, I'll be able to also see that this has updated the hours on the left-hand side for the entire programme. If I'd like to view the timesheet records specifically, I can select the timesheet icon on the left-hand side here, and I'll be able to view all of the timesheet records that this student has logged. Finally, within the ePAD, we also have an informal messaging system for the student to get in touch with the academic assessor. If for any reason you need to informally get in touch with that academic assessor, it is possible for you to use this messaging system and sign off the message with your name. In order to access this messaging system, we can select the icon here, write the message in here, and again sign it off with your name. If the student has received new messages at any time, then they will receive a notification here in the top right hand side for when they've received that message. It is possible for you to check in here if you have had a response from the academic assessor. It's important to note though that if your message is urgent and important, then please email the academic assessor directly rather than using the informal messaging system here.